everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jean, your Pinay Nanny vlogger working here in Hong Kong. So for this video, if you are interested to work here in Hong Kong as a domestic helper, here are the list of benefits you can avail in case you are working here in Hong Kong as a domestic helper. Here, of course, number one is the domestic helper salary here in Hong Kong amounting to 4,520 Hong Kong dollar, equivalent to 31,000 in peso. And of course, the monthly food allowance, which is 1,075 Hong Kong dollar. Every domestic helper here in Hong Kong are entitled to receive 1,075 Hong Kong dollar monthly food allowance. If the employer cannot provide a cash food allowance for the domestic helper, then that employer must provide a food for the domestic helper. And number three is the weekly holiday. Every week, the domestic helper here in Hong Kong are entitled to 1 day rest day or 1 day holiday. That means the domestic helper here in Hong Kong are required to work 6 days every week and 1 day holiday for them to enjoy the rest day. Number four is the statutory holiday. Every domestic helper here in Hong Kong are entitled to enjoy the 12 days statutory holiday every year. So every year, yung domestic helper dito sa Hong Kong ay merong 12 days paid statutory holiday. If you sign a contract with your employer equivalent to 2 years, so in 2 years, you can avail 24 days statutory holiday. And number five is the medical assistance. Every domestic helper here in Hong Kong are entitled for free medical assistance to be shouldered by their employer. It could be in terms of medical treatment, medical maintenance, or medicine, or emergency dental treatment. For the number five benefits, which is medical assistance, you can refer to your blue contract, page 2, number 9, section A, B, and C. And number six is the domestic helper remains repatriation, going back home in the Philippines. This is also one of the benefits you can get if you work as a domestic helper here in Hong Kong. Hindi naman ho natin hinihingi, pero in case na mamatay si domestic helper dito sa Hong Kong, all the expenses for the domestic helper remains repatriation, going back home to her place of origin, going back home in the Philippines, must be shouldered by your employers. And number seven benefits is the free air ticket, okay? If you plan to work here in Hong Kong as a domestic helper, do not worry about your plane ticket because it is clearly written on our blue contract that it is one of the benefits you can get in case you plan to work here in Hong Kong as a domestic helper. Your air ticket from your place of origin back home in the Philippines, coming back to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong going back to the Philippines, either you are terminated, finished contract, or break contract, the expenses for your air ticket must be shouldered by your employer. And number eight is we have also our paid annual leave. Every year, every domestic helper here in Hong Kong are entitled to 7 days paid annual leave. And number nine benefits, the domestic helper here in Hong Kong are also entitled to enjoy the free accommodation, including the water and the electricity, if you are a live-in domestic helper. So if you are a live-out domestic helper here in Hong Kong, your employer must pay for your accommodation, for the rent of your house accommodation, water supply, and also electricity. All the expenses for your accommodation, if you are a live-out domestic helper, including the water supply and electricity, your employer must shoulder all the expenses, okay? And number 10 benefits you can avail if you are working here in Hong Kong as a domestic helper is also the severance fee and the long service fee. But the severance fee and the long service fee you can only avail if you already comply with the years of service requirements. And it's also subject for evaluation and positive agreement with your employer. So that's it for this video, at kung may natutunan ka, and for more future tips, please do consider subscribing to my channel now, clicking the subscribe button and tap the bell to keep you posted every time I upload videos here in my channel. Thank you so much guys for watching. Have a good day and God bless. Bye!